Hello friends. Hello friends. This is astrologer Amber Saroj, and you are watching my channel on astrology, astrologer Amber Saroj. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to receive the notifications for the upcoming videos, and enjoy the valid and research based info and content on Vedic astrology. Do share the videos as much as possible you can. So we are continuing with the series of Ketu, results of Ketu in the first house, and this is Scorpio Ascendant chart. And basically, before proceeding, let us have a general overview about Ketu. Rahu and Ketu have been considered as malefic planets in Vedic astrology. These are shadowy planets, but given the impact of Ketu and Rahu in a chart, these have been considered planets in Vedic astrology. And the role of Rahu and Ketu in Vedic astrology cannot be ignored at all. And Ketu basically is a malefic planet. We can't expect a benefic result from a malefic planet. So don't expect that Ketu is placed in the first house that it will give positive results. Not at all. Never ever. A malefic planet gives malefic results and a benefic planet gives benefic results. So Ketu in the first house, this is uh, a problem. Now in this case it is it's Ketu in Scorpio. It's in one thing so far as Ketu in Scorpio is concerned. It's exalted situation, isn't it? Rahu is debilitated in Scorpio, and Ketu is exalted in Scorpio. But that does not make any sense at all. It is not important that it will give results. No, not at all. Ketu is a malefic planet, and depending on the nature of the chart, depending on the relative strength of other planets across the horoscope, the impact of Ketu in the horoscope can be analyzed. So Ketu, a malefic planet, creates problems for every ascendant irrespective of its placement. And if Ketu is placed in 6th, 8th or 12th house, its malefic influence increases, and it also catches the characteristics of the house in which it's placed. That's the another point. And so far as the impact of Ketu is concerned, if Ketu is afflicted itself by another malefic planet, for example in case of Scorpio ascendant chart, if Ketu is afflicted by Venus, for example, so the malefic influence of Ketu will increase. It will lead to increase in the malefic influence of Ketu. So this is another point that has to be taken into consideration. So we have to see the influences, we have to see the aspects that Ketu is making, that Ketu is creating in the horoscope. We have to see the favorable aspects of Ketu with respect to Ketu. We have to see the unfavorable aspects with respect to Ketu, and other factors that need to be taken into consideration while discussing the impact of Ketu in a chart. Broadly, we discuss the impact of Ketu in two categories. One, where we have long-lived impact of Ketu, and another where we have short-lived impact of Ketu. When we talk of long-lived impact, what we mean by long-lived impact? Long-lived impact is an impact which is felt by a native irrespective of the time period of Ketu in operation, irrespective of Mahadasha or Antardasha of Ketu. It means the impact of Ketu persists for a native irrespective of its time period in operation. Mainly the substantial and the pronounced impact of Ketu is felt in the Antardasha, in the sub period, rather than the Mahadasha. And in extremely exceptional cases, Ketu gives best results, but those are extremely exceptional cases. In general, it's a malefic planet, and it does not give any benefic result at all for any ascendant. Now, so far as the long-lived impact is concerned, it depends what will be the long-lived impact and what will be the extent of that long-lived impact in a chart. Multiple factors need to be taken into consideration. Now, so far as the Ketu is first house is concerned, we have long-lived impact, that is irrespective of Antardasha or Mahadasha of Ketu. And those people, those natives who have Ketu in the first house in the Lagna, they might have been facing problems due to placement of Ketu in the first house, irrespective of Antardasha or Mahadasha of Ketu. So this is one category. Another is that irrespective, another the impact of Ketu is short-lived. What we mean by short-lived? By short-lived, we mean that influence of Ketu is felt only when the time period of Ketu is in operation. Either Antardasha or Mahadasha of Ketu is in operation. Only then influence of Ketu is felt by a native in his life. So these are the two types of impact. These are the two, I'll say, versions of impact of Ketu uh, in a horoscope, so far as its placement in the first house is concerned. Now, what are the results? For example, the main problem, so far as long-lived impact is concerned, that is with respect to marital relationship. The marital life remains disturbed. The sustainability of marital life, that is under threat by this placement, isn't it? And the sustenance of business partnership, that's also under threat. Person feels mental retardation, mentally disturbed. He faces detachment from general masses, isn't it? And he faces stomach acidity, he faces fevers, boils, and headaches rather, and urine infection also, and injuries also, and the relationships that get lost, and the setbacks with respect to general fortune, that also. So whereas the child conceiving power and the strength of conceiving a baby is concerned, that's also impeded by this placement of Ketu in the first house. And it depends on the strength of other planets in the chart as well, that can't be ignored at all. As I mentioned that every chart in its essence is different. The uh, spread of planets in any horoscope is different. The individual strength of planet in any chart is different, so we can't say as a general rule that there is a 50% restriction of Ketu in a chart. The problem faced by native is 10% in a Scorpio ascendant chart, or it is 70%. No, we can't say in general case. We can't generalize this, but we do say that it depends on the nature of the chart. But Ketu has uh, a role to play, a malefic role to play in any lagna like this Scorpio ascendant chart, so far as its placement in first house is concerned. So these are the two versions of Ketu's impact in the first house. Now another side of the coin is the Ketu story is that the transit impact. This is the placement of Ketu in the first house in birth chart. So far as transit chart is concerned, transit Ketu is concerned, we have to look at the transit placement as well, because transit plays an important role so far as Ketu is concerned. If Ketu is making any aspect, if the affliction is going from transit to birth chart, from transit to transit, or from birth chart to transit chart, what we call triple transit, that becomes quite hectic and challenging situation for a native to handle with. And it has been a challenge for most of the natives medically and in other events of their lives. That has been a challenging phase of their life. So I recommend all the Scorpio ascendant natives, uh, all the ascendants rather, that do remove cat's eye. Don't wear cat's eye gemstone, because it will increase the malefic influence of Ketu. In extremely exceptional case, it gives benefic results for few months rather, for a specific time period, but in the transit it creates problems. And the irony is that the client himself is unaware about the impact that he is receiving, the malefic influence that he is receiving due to wearing cat's eye, isn't it? Most of the astrologers, they recommend cat's eye because Ketu placed in Lagna is a benefic. No, a malefic planet placed in Lagna will give always malefic results. It will never give positive results, not at all. This is a simple logic. When a planet is malefic, how can it give benefic results? Isn't it? It's a type of serious nonsenseness. So to expect positive results from such a thing which is negative, to expect positive results from a malefic planet, it's a nonsense. No, it's nothing less than that. And practically, I do have received clients. I do have made consultation to most of the charts, to most of the clients, where I have removed cat's eye gemstone forever, and the client have benefited a lot. And I have recommended the charities and other remedies, the specific remedies in the light of the nature of the specific chart, and the native has, relieved himself from the influence of Ketu. I have over and again emphasized that we can't remove the placement of Ketu from the first house. What we are talking about is the impact of Ketu in the first house. It's impossible to remove Ketu from the first house or any house. What we are talking about is the influence of Ketu, not the placement of Ketu. So we have to lessen the influence of Ketu in the first house rather. So that's the main challenge that remains with us. And as an astrologer, I have recommended charities, most of the natives, so far as Ketu is concerned, and it has been a nice experience because the natives have benefited a lot. So this is all about this video and about this podcast on Ketu's placement in the first house in case of Scorpio ascendant. Thank you.